You've been silenced for very long, and every time you try to resist, they put you in jail.
For my children.
You've controlled your mind for so long to the point where you let them decide what your kids should learn, what gender they will be. And now you've let them to come for the whole nation, destroying what Britain once stood up for. They use this media machine not to report the facts to you, but to tell you what to think and what you should do.
Always be careful.
They're hiding the facts behind the noise, and they're recruiting pedophiles to tell you how to behave. And these politicians who meant to protect you, they're out there smashing your head on the ground. And no jail time for them. This road we've been on has been very dark for a very long time, and it's time to shine a light on the truth and advocate for justice. We the people make the nation, and if we don't stand up and advocate for justice, then we certainly won't make this nation great again. So we have to create a place for that, a place that can contribute to a more informed society. And that place is Next Frontier Media.
People need to, what they need to understand is that how much more compassion can somebody show that they're willing to risk their life, to go into a war zone and to fight for people who they don't even know. They don't know the area, they don't know the language, they don't get paid. They have to pay out their own pocket. And majority of the time, they end up being killed. So, in your eyes, that's not compassion. Somebody wants to go there and fight, let him fight. Because he's doing it out of compassion, out of feeling that, look, you know, this is the best that I can do in this situation. You know, the way people used to speak in the 90s is not the way the people speak now. In fact, nobody speaks about it. The stuff that I'm saying to you now, you will never hear this on the mainstream media. Nobody will talk about this the way I'm talking about it. People are gonna say, this guy, he's mad. He wants to go to prison. Because the stuff that I'm saying is very emotive. It's dangerous, as far as they're concerned. Why? Because obviously they're gonna see me as someone who's glorifying jihad and the mujahideen and making it into a glorious cause. And they don't want that. They want people to say, oh no, there's no jihad in Chechnya, there's no jihad in Afghanistan, there's no jihad in Syria, this is not the way, look after your mom and dad, do this. And they bring out all these, so-called scholars who start towing the party line and telling the youth, oh, no, you shouldn't be fighting, you shouldn't be doing this. What I'm saying is that you can't control everybody. Whoever's gonna go is gonna go. But what I'm saying to you, so-called scholars who do toe this particular party line, fear Allah and speak the truth. Don't try to change the religion of Allah. Don't try to hide the verses of the Quran that talk about jihad. Don't try to diminish the honor and the dignity and the rank of the mujahideen, because you're too cowardly to commit it to do it yourself. So don't demean it. Yeah, what you should say is that it's a lofty goal, and they are lofty people, but we don't have the capability of achieving that because we're weak. So rather than putting them down, put yourself down.
Ladies and gentlemen, patriots, truth seekers, yep. All right, folks. All right, you heard it here. I mean, it's important you listen to that. I mean, oh God. How do I start this live stream? There was a lot of preparation for this live. I mean, I've been reading, researching, trying to figure out who this guy really is. And I think we might get him on the show. It's important we listen to his story. But this guy is running to become a counselor. And he's past. I mean, it's important we talk about his past, because the public now is reacting in shocked. Knowing who this guy really is, seeing what this guy has done. And now he's announced that he's running. He's announced that he's going to run to become a member of to become a counselor. I mean, what? What? All right, folks, brace yourself for an impact. I'm gonna show you something today, and I think it's something that we need to talk about. It's something that we need to talk about. All right, folks, it's something that we need to talk about. Okay, but we're gonna cover a lot of stuff among this. We're gonna cover a lot of stuff among other stuff. We're gonna cover this one. This is the main story for today. It has to be the main story, and of course, we got a lot of stories. We got Starmer attacking veterans, trying to put them in jail. Well, he attacked veterans, trying to put them in jail when he was in power, when he was a lawyer. You know, when he was in charge of the prosecution back then, arresting people and stuff, going after veterans for years after years. And the crazy thing is that he did it all that for free. We're gonna have to talk about that. That is one. I think that is a sub main story about with this one. So yeah, here's what we're gonna talk about. I don't want to waste too long. So here's what we're gonna be talking about. Starmer led witch hunt against Iraqi veterans. We're gonna talk about that. We're gonna talk about convicted terrorist Shahid Butt runs for Birmingham council seat. I think it's important we talk about this. And, you know, you just seen the intro, you just seen the video of him. You went out there to basically try to bomb and destroy our consulate in Yemen. He wanted to go and destroy the businesses that we had over there. He wanted to go and destroy the consulate that we had over there. By the way, he's a British citizen. He flew all the way there to go, you know, destroy what we had over there. Apparently, he was doing jihad, whatever you want to call it. And I think it's going to be important for me to bring him on the show and talk to him and ask him these questions like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what you mean? You got to go and fight. Okay, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to cover a lot more stories. Shabana Mahmood questioned under about Crow, bro. She's under fire right now. She's bearing a lot of scrutiny, rightfully so, given what she's said, given what she's been doing, given the broken promises. Yes, she has to be criticized heavily. I think the public has been very kind to her, I have to say. So we're gonna talk about that. She went on LBC trying to set the record straight, but of course, you know, there's nothing that will go in their favor this time around, because they've lied and lied and lied and deceit and lie, and it's time now they get what they deserve, I guess. So we're gonna talk about that. We're also gonna talk about Katie Lam argues that the NHS doesn't need to rely on immigration. I think, yeah, we need to talk about that. There's a lot of figures, there's a lot of numbers, there's a lot of people who debate. A lot of people say, hey, the NHS is relying on immigrants, and as soon as we you know, change that, I mean, it's gonna fall. And everybody's like, yes, that's why we need more immigrants, we need more Filipinos, we need more Nigerians, we need more Indians, we need more all these nurses, doctors from around the world. And we should even hire our own nurses, our own doctors who are in a lot of medical degree debt, school debt, and they have to still fight for the same job. They have to still fight for one job with a Nigerian, with a Syrian, with an Afghani doctor, with an Indian doctor. They still need to fight for it, even though they study here. They did every single thing possible thinking they're gonna get a job in the UK, but now the people that they have to fight against, the people that they have to fight with, compete with, are coming from abroad. I mean, what? So we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about Muhammad Hijab Quran clip. I don't know if you guys know, but this guy called Muhammad Hijab is out there preaching to young men, and he's telling them that they should be ready, that the Quran teaches them how to fight and how to slaughter. And the Quran teaches them how to do the one kill, the one strike. Yeah, I want to show you what the Quran teaches them about the one strike. Yeah, just one strike, right in the neck, they say. Give them right in the neck, all right? Just one strike, okay? They say, all right? So I think it's important that we talk about that, okay? The one strike that the Quran is teaching them. Of course, we're going to play a video of Muhammad Hijab telling his congregates that this is what they should do. It's insane. And of course, the last one we're going to talk about, Susan Hall reports on the rape gangs in the UK. She drops a mini documentary, info documentary, very informative video, very short. I think it's important we play it. We're gonna react to it, because she has more information than we have. She's able to get directly to Sadiq Khan. She's able to talk to him. She's able to challenge him. And I'm sure she's able to be brief on, obviously, maybe not the same information as him, but she probably gets briefed and gets to see some sensitive information that we might not get to see. So she made a video. I think we need to talk about it. We need to react to it. And we need to show it to the world that, hey, this is what's taking place in the UK. All right. So that's all we're going to cover. And let's get straight into it, folks. Let's get straight into it. By the way, have you noticed how quickly YouTube has basically got back with us, like in terms of censorship? Remember when early last year, they did, well, obviously they censored us, they demonetized us, and they basically tried to delete the channel, and we had to fight them for over 9 months. Remember that? Don't forget that. That was a big fight. It affected me heavily, to be fair. And then after we won in September 17th, we won the battle with YouTube. We gained the channel back, and the channel was reinstated. We were ready to go. We're active. And they said, all right, you can go. You can fly like a bird now. This platform is yours. You can do whatever you want. Then, of course, we got back. A couple of videos started doing well. Have you noticed now they're back? It looks like they're back again, because we barely gained 2K on the video now. It's like, what the fuck? How? We came back, we did couple thousand views, a couple million views a month, when we obviously returned after the censorship, after the demonetization. We did a couple million views on every month for 2 months. And now this month, I don't know what's going on, but it's like, it's very hard to even get 5K views. I don't know, is it just me? But when you see videos after video, and it's like a trend, it's like a thing now, it's a pattern now. So, hey, YouTube, what's going on? Do we need to fight again? We won last time. You don't want to get another beaten, do you? Now I'm playing. Okay. I know YouTube basically has 100% control of everything here. So we do not want to play with them, okay? But something needs to be done. But something needs to be, it's a conversation that needs to be had. All right, let's get into this. Where do we freaking start with this? So this guy, don't know if you guys know him, but he goes by the name of Sahid Bot. And he was out there. He's a Birmingham Muslim activist who was jailed for his past in armed terrorist plot. And now he's seeking for election to represent Spark Hill on the city council in Birmingham. Sahid Bot, his 60-year-old, says he believes is an ideal candidate to unite a divided community and city, push back against the far right and defeat Labour in his traditional strongholds. I gotta tell you about this guy a little bit, folks. We gotta tell you about this guy, but first, let me show you this video of him and Ahmed Yaqub and Shakil Afzal campaigning together. I think it's important you listen to this, then I'll tell you more about who this guy really is. All right, listen to this, folks.
In Spark Hill, alhamdulillah, this is for the side, but and he is your candidate for the upcoming council elections in May. Make sure you throw your full support behind him, because now is at a time to get rid of the Labour councillors here in Spark Hill and Birmingham.
Absolutely. For those of you who know us, know that we have been passionately working for our community. Me and Ahmed at the last general election stood for the parliamentary seat, and now it's the council election. That's why we have put our weight behind a candidate who has weight within the community. I urge you at the next May election, the council election, you must vote for our candidate Shahid Butt, and also our other candidate who is Bilal Arabi, who couldn't make it here today. Over to you with the Shahid.
With the help of Allah, with your support, and with these guys behind me, I know we're gonna take this Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Remember that.
Yeah, so that's those two. They're obviously campaigning together, having fun, and doing the election announcement and stuff. So of course, a lot of people are probably seeing the guy and thinking, "All right, new guy." I'm not from Birmingham, so of course I'm not going to be participating in it. But the people out there who are like, "Oh yeah, this guy." By the way, this guy has been around for a very long time. He's 60-year-old. He's had a past, and I think it's important that I read his past to you. I tell you who this guy really is and what he has done, and what he was involved in. Not long ago, actually. Now, this is the person who we're talking about. His name is Saeed Butt. He's 60-year-old now. He was back in the days, long time ago. He had a duty to fulfill, I guess. He was out there. He traveled to, the Bosnian War. I don't know if you guys know the Bosnian War in the early 90s and the late 1980s. The Bosnian War, the Bosniaks and I think the Muslim Bosniaks, and I don't know what other country it was, but those are other countries over there. I don't even know as much. But all I know, there was a civil war. There was a big war there where UN came in and basically did fuck all. Nothing was fixed. Hundreds of people was massacred. It was like a big genocide that took place there, where a lot of people were killed. Muslims and Christians, all of them was butchered, and yeah, it was brutal, and it was brutal. This was when they was fighting for. You had Croatia, then you had so many countries, yeah, and all of them wanted to, like, when the Soviet Union kind of collapsed. When the Soviet Union collapsed, and so many other countries wanted to keep power. So many other countries wanted to get independence, but there was a couple countries that wanted to kind of like unite and just keep the power to itself and not give independence to all of them. And that was near the Bosnia. Give me a second. Let me get the map up, because as soon as I get the map, I'll know what I'm talking about. Because I've learned this. I researched this heavily. So let me get the map and I'll know which country. I don't really look at these countries as much, but as soon as I know their name, I know what I'm talking about. All right. You tell me a country's name, I'll tell you its history. Nah, I think that's too much. All right, that's me. That's talking too much. Okay, I don't know much. Okay, let's see. Where am I? It's over here near Croatia. So yeah, where's the big Russia? Right there. All right, cool. So you see here, why is this map so weird? Sorry, folks. Yeah, right here. So you had Bosnia, you had Serbia, you had Montenegro, Kosovo, and Croatia, and Slovenia, and I think a little bit of Hungary. No, I don't think Hungary was involved. But sorry, I don't know what the fuck is going on. I'm getting calls here. 2 seconds, folks. Two seconds, sorry. Yeah, so you had all these countries fighting each other, right? So the Soviet Union collapsed, and you had all these countries type of like basically try to basically make a name for themselves, and you had a lot of countries that was already had a lot of countries that had an army already, that had a lot of what you call strength, in a sense. Did not want the other countries to get independence. So you had I think one of the main contributing country here was Croatia, I think, and Montenegro and all these countries, they started fighting each other. And it was a big fight. I think it was like four-front war where all of them were fighting each other. For a couple of months straight, people were just getting killed. And the UN sent the Security Council, the UN sent the peacekeeping to go keep the peace, right? And basically they went there to just watch, because hundreds of people were killed. Thousands of people were killed. And this guy, this guy, he traveled there. He went there to basically fight for the Muslims. And he was going back and forth to fight for the Muslims, to help them out, and doing all the thing that he wanted to do. And later on, by the way, he was doing this when he was in his 70, when he was like 18, 19. He was traveling to other countries to fight for the for Muslims. So then, of course, skip the when we get to so he was doing that for a very long time, right? And then he started going to other countries like Iraq, Syria, and all these things. I'm sure you guys know a guy called Assad. And of course, Assad's family was ruling Syria for a very long time. And, he was killing a lot of Shia, I think it was Shia Muslims that were being killed. So there's a lot of all these groups, right? And he traveled there too. Well, he was getting people, arranging people to go around places to basically fight for the Muslims, right? And he was convicted. Now, let me just read you this article here. The thing that you're seeing on the screen right now. He was convicted in 1999 for planning and plotting to basically go out and bomb a British consulate. So let me just read this. The delayed verdict in the trial of Mohammed Kamil Muhsin Galin, 18-year-old, both from London, Malik Nassar, 26-year-old, Samad Ahmed, 21-year-old. Notice how young these guys were, and then there were Saheed Butt, which he was 33-year-old at this time in 1999. He was 33-year-old. That means he would have been in the battle, or he was the most experienced one, because he was convicted for planning and trying to get this done. And he was sending money to all these terrorist groups and all these crazy things that he had connection with, because he's been doing it since the 80s, to go back and forth and fighting for other Muslim countries and stuff, then come back to Britain, do some work, make some money, send around, go basically like managing the thing. And of course he was convicted, and he was jailed for 5 years. And yeah, he's out now. Of course, 5 years, he's out now. And today he's running to become a councillor in Birmingham. This is where we are, folks. He's running to become a councillor in Birmingham. So let me just quickly read this thing that I'm going to put on the screen. I can't really see it properly, so I'm going to have to if you can see it, can you read it out loud for us, please? But, okay, now I can see it. Saeed Butt, convicted terrorist from Birmingham who had been accused of siphoning money to accounts linked with terrorist group. In the early 1990s, an accomplice stole national insurance number belonging to an immigrant and people who had died, and Butt then made claims under their name. Oh God. Some of the stolen cash went to supporters of Sharia. Significantly, Butt was one of the 5 British Muslims jailed for 5 years on terrorist charges in Yemen in October 1999. 4 years earlier, in June 1995, Butt, then he was 23 by then, was sentenced to 18 months in jail at Birmingham Crown Court after pleading guilty to 4 counts of dishonestly obtaining property by deception. So this guy was basically in the game he started doing this since he was 19. And he was going back and forth into other countries, getting young men into going around, getting young men into basically helping out and doing the jihad. And there was one famous guy, there was one famous imam who was also convicted earlier on, before him, or maybe after him. He was convicted for teaching young men into going around and doing jihad. And this is the guy, this is Saeed, but he learned this from an imam, and then he started basically recruiting other young men to basically go do the same thing. Now, I could be wrong. This is why it's important for me to get Saeed on this show. So if you know who Saeed really is, get Saeed on this show. I got a couple of people who know who this guy is. I'm going to reach out to them today to get Saeed on the show. So if you guys want to ask him some questions, you want to criticize what he's done, you want to go at it, comment down below. Send me your questions. The email is basically right there. You can see my social here. I don't use Snapchat, by the way. So you can text me on TikTok. You can text me on Instagram. You can text me on all these platforms that I'm able to respond to you. Text me on X. We're most likely to respond to you. Any questions you have, if we do get him on, I think it'll be important we have this sort of conversation, because I mean, whoa, this is a crazy path. Now, obviously, it might be a changed man. Maybe he might be different today, but it's who he is. To he was, this is what he's done, and it's important that we don't shy away in highlighting this. It's important that we bring it to life and talk about it. But here's a piece that was done by Birmingham Live. Birmingham Live has mentioned it. I've made a piece about him, and this is what they had to say. All right. I think it's important I read out this loud to you a little bit. To be fair, a little bit. It gives more details into what his campaign is like. It's not on the screen, so you're not seeing it on the screen right now. But this is what they're saying about him. Said Bot, 60-year-old, he believes that is the ideal candidate to unite a divided community, a city to push back against the far right and defeat the Labour in one of his stronghold. His candidacy has come under immediate fire online amid claim he advocates violence, pushes a strong Islamic agenda, and significantly history of criminality, and should be barred from him sitting, sitting on this council election. He has openly, oh God, okay, let's carry on reading this. He has openly encouraged the city's Muslim youth to work out at the gym and learn to fight in the readiness for potential attacks, and urge Muslims to stand strong and hold their ground against people of other faith who he describes as disbelievers. Yeah, these are disbelievers. And he also advocates turning away from gangs, drugs, and gangsters, and dangerously driving and antisocial behavior. I think I saw him ahead of the Villa match. Ahead of the Villa match against Maccabi Tel Aviv last November, he had called Muslims from around the country to head to Birmingham to show solidarity for Palestine and prevent the Israeli teams from desecrating and dirtying the city. Whoa. And dirtying the city, claiming IDF baby killers were said to be in the city. He also posted a video from a protest at the match saying, quote, "Muslims are not pacifists. If somebody comes into your face, you knock his teeth out. That's my message to the youth." I mean, this is crazy. What is that? Yeah, this is what he basically said. And it carries on. But a father of 5 and grandkids to two girls will be one of the estimated 20 candidates who will be standing alongside controversial lawyer Ahmed Yaqub and fellow local activist Shakil Afsar in an independent candidates alliance. By the way, they're not independent anymore. They are working with the Workers' Party, so they are not just independent guys. They've announced that they're working with the Independence Alliance. So I think it's important to put that out. In a launch video for his campaign with two men, he tells people that he will be relying on the support of Allah, these guys, and you to win the seat. By the way, if you didn't see the video that we're talking about, we just played it, so you can go back and listen to it. This article goes more into depth. It tells us how this guy was radicalized and how many gangs he was involved in. But let's skip all that. Let's get to here. Kubot was convicted on terror charges in 1999, admits claim he was a part of a terrorist enterprise conspiring to terrorize Yemen. He was found guilty of forming an armed gang and conspiring to bomb the British consulate, an Anglican church, and a Swiss-owned hotel in Yemen. This is crazy. I just told you a story, right? So he's been traveling around. By 1990, he was 33. So he had been doing this for like, he started when he was like 18, right? And when he was convicted, he was 33. So he would have had like more than 10 years experience. And so he was able to now organize group and stuff. The group was supposedly linked to an Islamic radical who kidnapped 16 Westerners in 1998, 4 of whom were killed, and they're accused of being sent to Yemen by radical cleric Abu Hamza. Now, this is the name I was looking for. I don't know how I forgot this name. But Abu Hamza was basically a cleric. So let me tell you more about Abu Hamza, right? And if I can get a picture on the screen of him, it'll be cool. But Abu Hamza was an Egyptian-born radical. Well, I'm just reading this from Google, right? An Egyptian-born radical cleric who served as an imam of Finsbury Park Mosque in London during the 1990s. He became well known for preaching Islamic extremist views, and then of course, oh damn, yeah, he did crazy stuff. So he, oh god. All right, so okay, if you're reading this, there's a lot of information there already. But look, Abu Hamza, right? This is what this guy did. Okay, let me just read you what he did. Okay, following an 8 years legal battle, he was extradited from the UK to the US in 2012. In 2015, he was sentenced to life in prison in the US for terrorism-related offenses, including hostage taking and supporting Al-Qaeda. By the way, this guy was the guy who radicalized him. And then he basically started radicalizing other people. And today he wants to run to become a counselor. Yes, some of you guys might say, Barack, that was more than 20 years ago. I understand your case. But still, we still need to tread careful here. Because being a counselor, you don't just get to know who lives where. No, you get very sensitive information on your desk. You are exposed to to stuff that the public is not exposed. You are in charge of a lot of things in the area. Things that I think are extremely important. It's not just the bins, all right? It's not just taking the bins on time. It's not just making sure the potholes are like fixed. It's not just making sure that, oh, the council is doing something good, blah, blah. No. There's a lot more that goes into the council. There's a lot of sensitive information that the council has. And if this guy wins, he's going to have all that information at his disposal. So, of course, I'm thinking, hey, we need to talk about this. Is this the guy who Birmingham can actually put forward? But let's carry on with the reading. I don't know if I should read this whole thing, but it gives a lot of information about who this guy really is. But I just want to read the part to how many gangs he was involved in. All right. Okay, so let's read from here. Before that, he had been jailed in Birmingham for violence and was in trouble regularly through the 1980s, linked to a role in a notorious Lynx gang. By the way, the Lynx gang was a huge gang in Birmingham that was formed for going after the right wingers, far right, and the skinheads, whatever. He actually says it here as well. A street gang of mainly Pakistani who talk to the racist far right skinheads and the National Front. Asked about his violence past, he said, "I am not a pacifist. If somebody attacks me, I'm not going to just turn the other cheek." Oh God, did he actually say that? No way. I'm not just going to turn the other cheek. I'm going to defend myself. I will also be preemptive, as the law advised me. Preemptive, all right. How far can preemptive go, bro? And if I feel like my life is threatened or my family, I'll do a preemptive strike. God, preemptive strike, eh? I mean, this is what he said when he was asked by Birmingham Live. But there's more to this. There's more to this, and this is him at Maccabi Tel Aviv fans when those guys were blocked, Aston Villa. He told the people to go out there and basically knock people out. Muslims are not pacifists. If somebody comes in your face, you knock his teeth out. Oh God. I think I seen him, you know. I need to go through my past videos. I think I interviewed him. I'm not sure. I didn't even know who he was. This is the problem, folks. You never know who you're talking to. You could be talking to a guy, you know, to Osama bin Laden's, you know, cousin in the UK. You won't even know. You won't even know. Everybody's just embedded together. You don't even know. You could, you know, your barber might turn, you know, maybe your corner store owner, the corner shop owner might be. It might be some other, not just terrorists, but. And by the way, I'm not trying to attack the group, of course not. But I'm saying you never know who you're talking to. I recognized seeing this face when I was in Birmingham. But I didn't know who he was. And now I'm figuring out, like, hey, this is who this guy is. That's a problem. I mean, I don't know how many we have that have done something crazy like this. I don't know. I don't know how many we have. They could just be walking around. We don't even know. We don't even know. The people who have been involved in stuff like bombing, killing, being involved in terrorizing the British public, and they could just be walking around and we don't even know them. You know, the MI5 is watching, the MI5 is checking, the MI5 is constantly on alert. It's constantly on alert, trying to stop people. And you know, they could be trying to stop your next door neighbor from doing stuff. They could be trying to stop somebody that you walked past in the bus from doing stuff. We don't even know. We don't even know. So yeah, this is where we are today, folks. Now, here's a guy. Of course, he talks to young people. He tells them how to live their life, how to do stuff, and it's important you listen to this. This is what he tells young people to do. Listen to this, folks.
Look, it's very simple. If I'm here with these strong views and with this passion that I have, do you think they're not here? Of course they are. They never left. They've just got multi-million-pound businesses. They've set up political parties. They've got international funding. They have their military wings. They have their training grounds. A lot of them have been going over to Ireland with the Unionists and fighting and learning over there. You know, they've been going into Eastern Europe to learn weaponry and all this sort of stuff. They are prepared and armed and everything. They've got full support. It's there now. They're here now, today, right now. They're in your face. Elon Musk did a Sieg Heil in front of the whole world, which is saying, middle finger to you all. We are here and we are coming and we're going to annihilate you. Call it what you want. It was a Roman salute. It was a Sieg Heil. You know what a Sieg Heil is? It's what the Nazis do. Yeah? He did it on international, worldwide. Hundreds of millions of people saw that. It was a signal. We are in power now. You're emboldened. Rise up. Rise up. And let's get rid of all of these people, these groomers and these Asians and these immigrants and all these. Let's get rid of them. And there's nothing new. You know, one thing, and this comes from Islam. If you read the Quran, I don't mean just like this, up and down. If you read the Quran in the translation and you read the hadith and you sit with the ulama and you listen to Islamic knowledge, none of this should be a surprise. Why are we surprised? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala clearly in the Quran tells us about who our enemies are and not to take them as your friends and protectors. So why are we surprised? Why? Is because we as Muslims have let our guard down.
Yeah. Take that information however way you want to take it, folks. I don't know how to tell you. I don't know how to say it to you. How it should be. How you should take it. I don't know how to commentate to that, so I'm going to just that's the message that he gives to young people who are listening to him. Be, don't drop your guard down. Be ready to fight when they turn up. I don't know who he's referring to, but he mentioned Elon Musk. He mentioned Nazi. He mentioned far right. So I don't know who he's referring to, but he's telling young people to be ready to go. And given his past was always, he was ready to go all the time. Given how many people he had a fight with, given how many times he was arrested for fighting people and terrorizing others, I guess he was ready all the time. And now he's telling young people to basically get ready. Always be ready. Always be ready to go. Now, here's another video I want you to watch. Is obviously urging his supporters. Again, a message to young people too, who are usually the ones who receive this information. As you already know, Islam is a very young population. It has a very young population. It's very young as well. A lot of young people turn up to the mosque, and this is the message that they receive. Listen to this. Oh, the message went away. All right. There it is.
As part of their graduation, if they can't do 100 push-ups without taking a breath, and if they can't do 100 squats, and if they can't bench press a certain amount, and if they can't go on the bag and punch it for 5 minutes without getting out of breath, I don't care how many Quran hafis you've done here, you're not passing.
You know what?
Because you have to, you're going to go out and you're going to be responsible for the community. So you need to be able to do that as well. Because tomorrow, if some far right people come, and they try to attack your masjid, and you're the imam, you're going to be in there more than the Namazi people. And if they come, what are you going to do? You're just going to go, oh, brother, please don't. You need to be out there kicking and punching and knocking and taking them out. Doesn't matter, go to prison. You're defending your masjid. You're defending the house of Allah. But if you've never thrown a punch in your life, how are you going to fight anybody?
Yeah. Again, some of you guys might be like, hey, Brock, he's just telling people to be ready to defend themselves. Yes. And some of you guys might be like, hey, Brock, this is crazy, man. They're ready to do something crazy. I'm not sure. I don't know. Take that information how you will, all right? Interpret it how you will. Do your own commentary on that side. But this is the guy is running for to become a councillor in Birmingham, Birmingham City Council, and he wants to be a part of it. So it's important that we talk about it. It's important that we're talking about it. All right. So let's move on to the next story. By the way, folks, I got something to tell you. Now, look, I might be going to Birmingham very soon. I'm just trying to get that done. I don't know if you guys were here last year when I had a call with his friend. Actually, let me just bring them up on the screen. Let me just bring them up on the screen real quick. So I had it was a podcast. We had Shakil Afsa on the podcast. He told me, he challenged me to go to Birmingham and to live stream in Birmingham. He's going to protect me. He pledged that he's going to protect me. He's going to make sure I'm looked after. And he said, bring a couple guys with you if you don't feel safe. Come out here and we're going to show you how nice and how lovely the Muslims in Birmingham are. Which I think some might, of course, not all Muslims are bad, of course. I'm not saying that's crazy stuff to say. But of course, we've seen a lot of videos. We're like, hey, I would rather avoid going there. But I'm going to go. I think I'm going to go. Cool. What do you guys think? Should I, of course, obviously, Shakil Afsa will be there. I'm thinking into getting Ahmed Yaqub there as well. And I also think we should get this guy there too. But what do you guys think? Should we do that? Should we do that? Would you like to see a stream of me and with them three in one of my streams when I go to Birmingham? I think I'm going to go. I was hesitating about it, but I think I'm going to go. What do you guys think? Yes or no? Do you guys want me to go? And some of you guys suggested I should take Tommy Robinson with me. Some of you guys suggested I should take some of the guys with me. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be a good idea. I'll be with Tommy Robinson in London next week Saturday. So I'll pitch him the idea, but I don't think he has enough time to do that. But if he wants to come, he can join me. I hope it's going to be a good one. But it looks like I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it, folks. I'm gonna do it. I need to like start arranging it. So it's gonna be a long, full live stream from Manchester to Birmingham. I'm gonna be in Birmingham for I don't know, however long, maybe 3-4 hours, and he's gonna take me around Birmingham. He's gonna show me places. It's gonna, I don't know, maybe he's gonna take me to good places. But he said he's not gonna stage it. So he's gonna take me to places that he's never been himself, and he's just gonna show me how good the area really is, and how good the people really is. And he's gonna take me to a random Muslim shop and just to show me how good of a reception I'll receive. But yeah, just a good comment just came through. Barak, take a bodyguard. Yeah, good idea. But of course, how many bodyguards can you take? 1, 2, 3. If something bad was to happen to me in Birmingham, I mean, there will be hundreds of people on me. So, well, how many bodyguards am I gonna take? But yeah, definitely I wouldn't go alone. I never do go alone. I mean, if you see me outside, I'm never alone. There's a reason for that. So yeah, of course, if I go to Birmingham, I'm not gonna go alone, and I'm not going there to do any sort of crazy stuff. I'm just going there to stream. So what do you guys think? Comment down below. What do you guys think? February. I think I'm gonna do it this February. I was thinking to wait till summertime, but I think February is important since they are campaigning right now. And also, by the way, there's a lot of things I want to tell you. What do you guys think? Do you think we should get how the fuck am I forgetting his name? Sorry, guys. Let me go on my Twitter. I keep forgetting people's name, bro. I'm not sure. Let's see. Mark Goodwin. Oh, shit, I don't want to show you a chat. Mark Goodwin, do you think we should get him on the stream? Because he's campaigning in Manchester right now as we're speaking. That's my town. I texted him, hey, bro, do you want to come on the stream? I'll go outside with you while you're campaigning. I'll be streaming it, of course. It might be unsafe because people might look at the stream and see where we are, then they might come to us. I don't know. But he's in Gorton, mate. It's fucking Gorton. Do you know what Gorton and Denton really is? So fucking, I mean, not to put it down, bro. Gorton is the ends. That's the ends, bro. That's where the trap house at. Oh, okay. No, okay. Forget all the things that happens in Gorton, but Gorton is a place, and if he's campaigning there, I'll reach out to him if we should go with him and campaign. Not to support him, but to just show what's going on. Show people's reaction while he's campaigning and knocking on doors and delivering leaflets. What do you guys think? Comment down below, because we are in the DMs right now. We'll see what we'll be able to do. I'm gonna be outside more often this year for sure. I told you guys last year. This year I'm gonna do more outside stuff. I want to be outside. I want to go out there and talk to people and stuff. But yeah, let's carry on with the stream. I just wanted to put it out there, but let's carry on with the stream. Okay. God, I think this one's gonna hit you, folks. Breaking news right now. Keir Starmer has just portrayed the British troops. Who they were sent to the war. They were sent to Afghanistan to defend the state, only to return and the state to be hunted by the state itself. And I'm talking about a exposed article from the Telegraph that came out recently, and the video that came out recently, claiming, and not even just claiming, telling us, exposing Keir Starmer, that he was not defending them while they were out there trying to defend our country. He was out there trying to persecute them. He was trying to put them in jail. For years he was hunting them. It was like a witch hunt. Yes, it was a witch hunt. They would track them down, follow them, and they tried to make some bogus claim to put these veterans in jail. It's freaking insane, folks. So long before entering politics, Starmer led a 2007 legal case that fundamentally changed how Britain troops could be pursued for alleged action on the battlefield. According to the legal documents later reported by the Telegraph, that case opened the door to years of repeated investigation into British servicemen, even after they had already been cleared. One of them was Surgeon Richie Cashwell, the guy that you're looking at right now, he was cleared for murder, not once, but twice. But guess what? Starmer wanted to go. He wanted to keep digging. He wanted to find something. It's crazy, folks. And the case went on for over how long? Not 1 year, not 2 years, over 13 years, 5 investigations. Because this guy somehow went and followed the orders in Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Syria, whatever place. But when he returns, we don't cheer him on, we don't welcome him back, but we trying to put him in jail because we told him to shoot and he followed the law and he followed the command and he shot, and now we have to start persecuting him under human rights. This was Starmer, folks. It's crazy. Now I'm gonna play you the video, but it's important that I lay you down. I tell you more about this case. In 2016, an official inquiry ruled he had acted in self-defense. That some allegations against him were based on a false evidence intended to blame the British troops. But by then, of course, damage was done. Imagine you're coming back home, you got some crazy memory of things that you've done, you got blood on you, like you know, the fact that you've lost a couple of friends that you went there with, you're returning alone with so many scarred mess, you know, with so much memory, with scars on your face. Maybe you come back with one leg, maybe you come back with no leg at all, and only to get home not to see people cheering you on and welcoming you and calling you a hero, but to see Starmer ready to put you in jail. So of course, Castro suffered PTSD. He turned to alcohol. He attempted suicide and later suffered a stroke. His family has said in the investigation that this investigation, this criminal procedure, this witch hunt from Starmer destroyed his life. And after years later on, they did discover that one lawyer involved. They did discover after years of the people who were tracking them, trying to put him in jail, they did discover the lawyer that was chasing them was none other than Starmer, now the Prime Minister. Imagine how much of a how angry you would be to know that the lawyer that was chasing you around, trying to put you in jail, is your Prime Minister today. Man, this is insane. This is crazy. Now, this was not to hold him accountable for what he has allegedly done in the battlefield over there in Iraq. It was basically just to persecute him. While soldiers were risking their lives in Iraq and Afghanistan for politicians like Tony Blair, who basically told every single thing that he needed to tell the British public to get themselves into a war and later on make so much money. Now it's one of the richest politicians that Britain has ever had, with over millions of pounds, operating in over 70 plus countries, having staff in every single corner of the globe. That's Tony Blair today. But Richie comes back and he has to suffer this. It's crazy. It's insane. I mean, for a young guy who's trying to join the army, it makes sense why it's hard for us to recruit, because we don't respect these guys. Because it takes a lot of courage to join the army, to know that the chance of you coming back home is very little. The chances of you being sent to fight for a bogus war, like going to fight for, weapons of mass destruction where that were never found. It's kind of the chances of you being sent out there just to fight for regime change that doesn't benefit your country is very high. And then to know that you can come back and this might happen to you. Listen to this, folks.
Starmer has betrayed you.
Yes, he has. They sent us to Iraq. They sent us to Afghanistan. And then they're saying, you shouldn't do that. He's literally going for troops that are doing the job.
Yeah.
Literally.
Sir Keir Starmer opened the door to hundreds of innocent British troops being pursued for war crimes, and he did so for free. Legal documents unearthed by the Telegraph show he led a landmark 2007 case that reshaped the law governing British troops in war zones. Working alongside him were Richard Harmer, now the Attorney General and Starmer's closest ally, and Phil Shiner, a solicitor who was later convicted of fraud. That case ultimately forced the Ministry of Defence to order fresh inquiries into deaths in Iraq, and it triggered years of criminal investigations into soldiers who were wrongly accused.
So this is recording.
Okay.
Yeah, let me just make sure that it's recording sounds.
As part of the 2007 case, Sakir and Lord Hermer personally urged the courts to order a fresh inquiry into this man, Sergeant Richie Cattrall, who had already been cleared of murder twice. Sergeant Cattrall was then wrongly pursued for nearly a decade. A judge eventually ruled that he'd acted in self-defence and that allegations against him were based in part on falsified evidence intended to pin the blame on British troops.
We serve by the rules of engagement. We say, don't shoot, we don't shoot, we shoot. Two men with weapons, just find bang, you shoot them.
Abandoned by the military and pursued by human rights lawyers, Richie suffered PTSD, turned to drink and attempted suicide on a number of occasions. 3 years ago, he suffered a stroke. More than 2 decades on, what now really hurts is the discovery that the current Prime Minister had been one of those lawyers that had hounded him.
How did it feel when you found out that Keir Starmer was involved in bringing a case against you?
I was gutted because he's now the Prime Minister and he's getting troops done. He's literally going for troops that are doing the job.
Yeah.
Literally.
The legal case used 6 sample cases of Iraqis killed by British forces. One of those involved Mohammed Salim, who had been armed with an AK-47 when he was shot and killed by Mr. Cattrall during a raid by the British Army on a house in Basra in 2003. Mr. Cattrall found himself under investigation for murder and manslaughter. Mr. Cattrall was finally exonerated in 2016, 13 years after the shooting in Basra, after an inquiry found he had acted in self-defence.
The CO done another investigation, and then the RMP done an investigation, and then the Iraq Historical done an investigation. Then someone else done an investigation. 5 times for one shooting is a lot of times.
Do you think that made you question whether you'd done something wrong?
Yeah.
Richie Cattrall's daughter, Demi, is her father's carer and advocate and lives next door.
It ruined his entire life. Ruined his entire life. Before the investigation started and before that Iraq tour, he lived, breathed and bled army. Military, it was his life. He loved it. And we all did. The investigation started. I lost my dad. Dad lost himself. He lost his career. For a good 12 years of his life. Dad lost all of his hair at one point, including his eyebrows, his moustache, everything. Didn't leave the house. But yeah, it had a huge impact on not only Dad, but the rest of the family as well. Huge.
Yeah, this is what they do. This is what they do. They send your son to wars. They're like, hey, go fight this war. We don't like Saddam Hussein. He has weapons of mass destruction that we sent UN 2 times, 3 times to search the place and they did not find anything. But we don't like him still. We're going to send your son there. And of course, Richie was one of them. They sent him there. They told him to shoot. And guess what? He shot. And he returns back home. Of course, with no weapons of mass destruction, because there was never any. Only to realize that, hey, why they keep investigating me? Why they trying to put me in jail? What do you mean? Human violation, human rights violation. What do you mean? Only to find out that the person who tried to put him in jail was Keir Starmer. And you know the crazy thing about this case? Is that Keir Starmer did all this pre bono. He did all this for free. He wasn't getting paid. He volunteered to try to put a British troops in jail. I mean, What in a big betrayal is that, folks? Okay. He says all the cases that he's done, all the things that he's been told to do. He's been saying, yeah, I don't pick my cases. I don't choose my clients that I'm representing. I don't choose my. Okay, but you chose pre bono for free to try to persecute a British veteran who went there to fight for the country, who went there and saw 400 plus more men and women who went with him, deceased, dead, killed in a foreign land, and 600 more returning wounded. And now he's suffering and you want to put him in jail? I mean, this is crazy, folks. There's no this is why I think, and of course, when we talk about Tony Blair is having his lovely time. Do you know how rich Tony Blair really is today? Do you know how rich this guy is? He has businesses operating in over 40 plus countries. Staff working over 40 plus countries. He's everywhere. He's pushing agenda everywhere. Rich as fuck. And then, but he's, now politics is a dirty game, folks. We should make it harder for politicians to just make a call and then we just have to jump. We should make it harder for them to be able to use and abuse their power because their weapons manufacturing donors want to make some profits. Because you have to know, every single time when there's a war or some conflict somewhere, somebody's benefiting. And it always happens to be the people who donated to them. Why do you think the Ukrainian war is still going on? Because BlackRock and all these big companies, Northrop Grumman, all these other companies, the weapon manufacturing companies, they are making immense amount of money. And they are buying land in Ukraine. And guess what? We're going to keep sending the money to keep Zelensky going. Because we don't want the war to stop anytime soon, right? We're going to keep sending the money. Zelensky, give me a hug. Take a picture, Zelensky. Let's keep the war going. Because somebody is making freaking money. That's always been the case everywhere. Every single time. And now we're learning that Keir Starmer was one of those prosecutors trying to put a British man in jail. Yeah, it doesn't get dirtier than that. I mean, when you speak about betrayal, it doesn't get more sinister than that, folks. It doesn't get more sinister than that. All right, let's move into the next story, folks. I told you I got a lot of stories today, but I know my stories are heavy. I know they're not as funny. They're not as they are so heavy. They are so important, serious stories. I know I want to sit here and talk about celebrities sometimes, but no, I think we got a country to save. We got some people to put on the watch here. We got some bells we need to ring here. So I can't bring you some funny stories, right? I can't be talking about the Beckhams. Yeah, I can't be talking about celebrity whose moms is dancing at the fucking wedding. Nobody cares. Why should I give it attention? We got a country to save, folks. So yeah, my stories are always deep. My stories are always heavy. And I'm sorry for that, but I'm not sorry. Let's talk about this other story, Shabana Mahmood. Shabana Mahmood, I don't know if you guys heard of this lady, yeah. The world was in shock when she was announced as a Home Secretary. Now she's making heavy decisions. She's making calls. She's showing her expertise at the global stage, nationally. She's out there speaking. And this is the question she was asked on LBC. She was asked if this bogus deal of 1 in, 1 out has done anything positive to the British people. This 1 in, 1 out deal, the millions of pounds that we send into Macron, what has it done to the British people? Listen to this, folks. It's freaking insane. I don't know how people are still believing this lady. I'm not sure. Something needs to be done, folks. But listen to this.
The numbers as of today are we've had 350 people come into the country from France and 281 have been removed. They are still relatively small numbers, but the thing I would say is this was a pilot.
In 2025, 41,472 people crossed the English Channel, and you're talking about the low hundreds. This is a disaster.
No, I think it was always a pilot, and it was designed to try to prove that this new model of working with the French could work. And look, there are practical issues around how quickly you can detain people and then get them on a plane and move them out to France. We've actually speeded up the removals to France and then taking people in.
Where would you like to be in a month's time? What's your goal? You must set a goal for your colleagues. Let's get to 500 by, I don't know, the middle of February or whatever it might be.
We're always in negotiations with our colleagues in France, so it's not just a goal for us, it's whether they can handle the people coming in as well as getting enough people to come out. One of the first problems we ran into, by the way, was we couldn't find enough people to bring in to Britain through the new route because there wasn't enough knowledge. There was exactly, but you got to compete with organised immigration crime to get your messages out. I promise I'd give you a number if I could, but I don't want to get ahead of discussions that we have with the French every day.
Did you hear that she slept up where she said she had a problem? She had one problem. The only problem that she's having is trying to negotiate and find a suitable person to bring into the country to do this 1 in, 1 out deal. Like there's not already a lot of more people who are just entering the country. I don't know. Poor you had to pick who should come to the country. Poor you. Very poor, Shabana Mahmood. I'm sorry you had to make a big decision in picking who should come in and who should go out. Like they're not coming in anyway. But one of the other questions that she was asked was about Cobra. As you already know, she made a decision to basically do a sneak attack on the locals, do a sneak attack on the local government there as well, because they also are not in favor of this. So she did a sneak attack at nighttime while everybody was sleeping after furious protesting. People thought, we've won. A lot of locals thought, we did enough. We've done enough. We've protested at night, in the daytime, in the weekend. We've done a lot. Maybe Shabana Mahmood will not do it. And guess what? At nighttime, while everybody was sleeping, 3:30 a.m., a bus loaded of men, 27 men, one bus brought them in at nighttime. So she was asked about that, and here's what you need to hear. Here's what she's going to say about it. And the way she's going to talk is more like she speaks like she's been in touch with a local. She speaks like she's made an agreement with a local. Like they spoke on the phone and all of them said, yeah, bring them in. I'm sorry we protested. We didn't know. We didn't, like they had a sort of like a little pack secret meeting and the local said, yes, bring them in. Listen to this, folks. I think all these politicians are like professional gaslighters, folks. They are. Listen to this.
Group of single men aged between 18 and 40. We're all aware of serious crimes that have occurred in other areas, particularly involving women. Crowborough is a low crime town. You haven't answered what specific measures are you going to put in place to ensure that our crime levels do not rise and that residents, especially women and children, are protected.
Well, look, we are working closely with the police. We're working closely with the local authority.
So there are no additional safety measures?
Well, I won't go into operational details around the policing of a site. I have made sure that we are very alive as the Home Office and also working with local partners about all of the potential ramifications for people and that those measures are in place. So what I can reassure you is that we are working closely with everybody in the local area to make sure that those concerns are dealt with. And of course, I would expect the police and everybody else to be, policing this in the usual way.
Or have you instructed? I appreciate you're not going to tell me exactly what the patrols might be.
No, I can't. I can't go into that level of operational detail. But what I can tell you is I absolutely hear those concerns, and in our planning, we are dealing with those concerns.
And you've had a conversation with the Chief Constable. You expect increased policing of some form in Crowborough?
I would expect them to. Yes, so I would.
So
I would expect. I would expect. No, I haven't spoken to the Chief Constable directly myself.
Why not, Home Secretary?
I will do. The Policing Minister and the Immigration Minister are all talking to the local authorities.
They
are.
That is
important. We are moving slowly, so it's only a very small number of people that have been moved first, and that is normal because it gives us a chance to see how those local arrangements are working before we put more people onto the site. If we had problems, we would obviously go slower.
If they had problem, they would go slower. Like, there's no problem. Like, right now, they have no problem. If we had a problem, we go slower. Right now, because we have no problem, we're going to do it one by one, bus by bus, bus by bus. And we've spoke to the locals. Yeah, we're going to go and speak to the locals. They're all happy. We don't have a problem. While everybody's protesting, while every single person is going outside with a flag protesting against this. And she's out here. She has the audacity to say, if we had a problem, we would go slower. I mean, are you not looking around? Do you not go online? Do you not see the videos? Or maybe you just go there on the weekend and see how furious the locals are. But no, we had no problem. So that's what we're doing, bus by bus. But if we had a problem, we would have gone slower. So assuming right now, there is no problem. There's no problem. But here's one of the ladies, a legal a law firm, I have to say, in Cobra, a very local one, very small, tight, have announced that they're gonna go against the government. They're gonna try to fight this. They're gonna try to launch a legal battle against Shabana Mahmood. And then, of course, this law firm has dispute. Basically, have said, we didn't speak to Shabana Mahmood. She did not respond to our emails. We've been emailing, we've been texting, we've been calling, we've been sending letters, we've been protesting. We've not heard anything from Shabana Mahmood. And of course, I just played you the video where she makes a statement that she's talking to everybody. She's letting everybody know. But the people who she's informing are coming to the street saying she's not picking up our calls. She's ignoring us. Listen to this, folks. I think this is important.
Director and chair of a group called the Crowborough Shield, describes itself as a non-political voluntary residence group, and they've launched a legal case against the plans for this asylum use. They launched that back in December. Kim, good afternoon to you. Thank you for joining me.
Hi, Sheila. Thanks for having me.
What were your thoughts after hearing Shabana Mahmood this morning, talking to Nick in full about Crowborough?
Well, first of all, I think this new public display about policing reforms is nothing more than a pathetic attempt to divert public attention away from the colossal mess that she's made here in Crowborough. Why she's talking about something that she's planned for 2030 when, the chances are they won't even be in office. She's really uninformed or perhaps just ignorant, I'm not sure, because Crowborough is the most used cadet training facility. It's a national resource, not a disused barracks, as she keeps saying. She's evicted thousands of young cadets and abandoning millions of pounds worth of essential equipment in favour of housing 540 asylum seekers. It's disproportionate and it's reckless.
Were those cadets living there sometimes, or just using the space and the facilities for some training or some activities?
So weekly training took place, summer camps, weekend camps. This was used by all cadets across the entire country. I mean, she also says that she understands the strength of feeling here. Well, if that's true, she's certainly a very callous and dangerous woman, because no one in their right mind would ignore this level of community feeling and unanimous opposition. It's absurd. And she keeps talking about getting these asylum seekers out of hotels and into barracks, but that actually achieves nothing. All they're doing is moving the problem around. It's bizarre.
Do you honestly believe that Shabana Mahmood is a callous and dangerous woman?
Yeah, I do.
Why?
I do. I absolutely
Wow.
do. Because she's, and as you just heard, she sits there and says that she's spoken and talking to everyone locally. She's spoken to no one. If you speak to Wealdon District Council, the leadership there, Shabana Mahmood, the Home Office, do not respond to their letters, their emails. They haven't engaged. They certainly haven't been engaging with the police. I mean, I've spoken to our the Police Crime Commissioner, Katie Bourne, and again, nothing comes from them. She is saying that we need another £5.5 million just to police this, and they're not engaging at all. So everything she's saying is lies. She's made these decisions without any sort of risk assessments, no impact assessments, and I think that is dangerous and it is absolutely reckless. She's not listening to anything that anyone is saying. The previous government also said that this site was absolutely unsuitable.
When you say risk assessments, what risks do you have in mind here?
Well, everything. So you've got community cohesion, you've got risks. I mean, we see what crimes take place. It's all over the media. You've got the risks to the actual asylum seekers themselves.
Do you mean sexual crimes when you say that?
Any crimes. It could be shoplifting. It can be absolutely anything. These men have nothing to do. There's nothing to do in our town. There's nothing for them to do. They are being put into military-style accommodation.
Where do you want them instead? Where do you want them instead? When they claim asylum, they have a legal. It might be an irritation. It might be. They might be dreadful people. They might be good, lovely people. Who knows? That's for the Home Office to work out.
Yeah.
But when they come here and claim asylum, they have legal rights to be here for a time while that's worked out. Now, where then? If not here, if not hotels, where?
The root cause needs to be addressed, and they are not addressing that. Asylum hotels and barracks. Of the way that the people coming here, the way they're coming here. I think there was some talk about opening up a processing centre in Calais at some point. That doesn't seem like a terrible idea. There's lots of things that they can be doing, but they're not doing it. They're not addressing the root cause. What they're doing is just moving a problem from A to B, and it solves absolutely nothing.
But like she said in her conversation with Nick, the Home Secretary, if she could solve it in one big move, such as you've described, don't you think she would?
No, I don't think she would. I think she's too busy moving it from A to B and giving public displays that we're doing something when really they're not. This isn't solving anything. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that it was in the media saying that asylum seekers were going to be housed in brand new houses. And she says that these army barracks and cadet training facilities, which they've obviously used here in Crowborough, are a deterrent. It's not a deterrent. 3 meals a day, dormitory style accommodation. What these people have gone through to get here, how she thinks that those things are going to act as a deterrent is deluded.
She is right. Shabana Mahmood is basically just I think she's doing what she's told. She's just doing what she's told. Even when she's speaking, you can tell she doesn't know what she's saying. You can tell she's trying to remember the script. You can tell there's like a note that she's trying to get to. There's like, she's remembering what she's been told. Say this and nothing else. All right. When they ask you this, say no comment. Yeah, until we brief you the next thing. If you're challenged in some ways, just say you gotta go. You gotta go. You got a lot of meeting this morning, this afternoon, whatever time it is. Yeah, that's what it looks like. I don't think she's out there making the decision herself. No, I think somebody's telling her, this is what we want you to do. This is what we want to get to. And then, since you are the public face now, you will go there and say what we tell you to say. And maybe sometimes you might make your own opinion on some stuff. That's what I generally think. I mean, I could be wrong. I hope I am. But if I am, then that makes her look even bad. If I'm right, then that makes the government look even worse than it is. So what do we do? Because according to Shabana Mahmood, there's no bigger problem. Now, she was asked on why she removed the young men who, aspiring Marine, aspiring, cadets, a young man who wanted to be in a civil service. There were young men who probably wanted to be a firefighter, who probably wanted to be a police, who probably wanted to go out there and be a bodyguard or something. They wanted to do something, or maybe wanted to be a soldier, a sniper, whatever. These guys were removed. All the army barracks. They were removed. Get out. only to house people who will not bring nothing, who basically most likely won't bring anything of substance compared to what the young men would have brought and the young women who were in the army barracks. So she removed them. Okay, look, the local protested, and then she moved these guys, these guys that we don't know of, and she didn't move them in the early morning. She moved them at night. Why would you do that unless you're trying to hide something? Listen to this, folks. She was asked why she moved these guys in, the illegal migrants in at nighttime. Listen to this respond. Because we all know you only do things at night when you don't want to be seen, right? You know, hide and Jekyll, Jekyll and Hyde. You only do the things, you only deceive people in the dark because they can't see. They don't know what's going on. It's easy for you to manipulate them, you know? So she did it at nighttime, and she was asked why she did it at nighttime. Listen to this.
Why was it deemed necessary that the first arrivals, 27 men last week, were brought in at 3:30 in the morning? Why was that?
We always start with small numbers whenever we are moving people.
It was under cover of darkness, wasn't it, Home Secretary?
It was just designed to make sure that, of course, that there wasn't a public order risk, and also that we could move people safely and quickly. Whenever you move into any new part of an estate, you have to start small, and it is normal practice to do these things.
I have to make you aware of the strength of feeling
when it's not busy.
Yeah, 3:30 a.m. 3:30 a.m. She moved them in while everybody was sleeping. Or if not sleeping, they were doing night shift in whatever place they work. The road is empty. Nobody's there to protest, to stop, and to, of course, say anything. It's 3 a.m. Everybody's asleep. Nobody's thinking crazy stuff will happen. And she's out here saying the reason why she did that is because she want to do it. She wanted to make safely, and she want to move quickly. And she doesn't want to put anybody in danger. No. And then she says nobody's unhappy about the decision we made. If there had been a problem, we would have gone slower. Then why would you do it at nighttime if there's no problem? You only move something in the nighttime when there's a problem in the daytime, right? She knows that in the daytime, people will be mad, and the cars will be blocked. And the attempt to move them will fail. So, of course, they did it at nighttime. And that's her acknowledging that people are mad about this. People are sad about this. People are furious about this decision. That's why she did it at nighttime. It just gets more sinister every single time when these guys speak to try to defend themselves. Because it gives us more ammunition, more clues. Connects the dot of the picture that we already have, that these guys don't give a fuck. Sorry for swearing, but I think these guys don't really care. They'll say what we need to hear, and they'll do the opposite. Oh, damn it. Yeah, somebody says like a thief in the night. Yeah, thief in the night. That's what I'm saying. At nighttime. Only robbers, people at nighttime. People go and do crazy stuff at nighttime. Not in the daytime. And that's what the devil do. The devil operates at night most of the time, All right, let's move into the next story, folks. We're going to cover a lot of stuff today. Katie Lamb argues that the NHS doesn't need to rely on immigration. I think this is one of the biggest story, or maybe the topic that we should have, maybe a debate that we need to have in the UK. Because I have a lot of friends who went to school, white, black, Asian. I have a lot of friends. I might not talk to them, but I know them. When I'm in the street, they see me, I salute them, they salute me. That's my friends, all right? We don't have to talk every day, okay? You're not one of those people you don't have to talk to. You haven't even spoke to them in a year, in 5 years, in 10 years, but when you see them, it's like you've been talking to them the whole day. But there's a lot of people who go to school, yeah. They go to school, especially in medical schools. They go to medical schools, they do all the stuff because they're promised that they're gonna come out and they're gonna become doctors, they're gonna become nurses, they're gonna become all the vacancies that's available in the NHS or private. They told that, right? So they go to school and they accumulate all this debt. They accumulate all this debt because, of course, they went to school and, of course, they took on the school debt and now they gotta pay it, only to come out and the jobs that are there to compete for with the British people themselves, the job that were there for them, only to come out and compete for those jobs with 20,000+ other people outside the country. I think that's extremely unfair. I don't know why we've made the NHS a international business where it hires and it recruits internationally and is looking for somebody over there and we're looking for someone over here, when we already have people who can do the job here. When we can just recruit our trained doctors already. When we can just recruit our young aspiring nurses here. But we make the market super saturated and we make the market super competitive by bringing outside competitors. Like, you bring in over 20,000 Indians to compete in the same thing that we don't have already. We don't have enough jobs in it already. So if we bring in more people from outside, we are basically trying to tell our people, you're not good enough. You're not good enough. I know we know you're here, but you're not good enough. We're going to get some Indians. We're going to get some Bangladeshis. Yeah, we need some Filipinos to come and fill this nurse job. We're going to get some Nigerians. Yeah, we need them. We love them. I think that should be the last thing. We should kind of give our kids the jobs, the people who are already here, all right? Take the jobs. And then when we need somebody, then we can look overseas and be like, all right, can we get an extra doctor? Please, yes, you come. Not like we already have doctors, but we're like, hey, give us 20,000, give us. And then we leave our people behind. Listen to Katie Lambs. I think this is a debate that we need to have, folks. This is a debate that I welcome to have this debate. Whether, does NHS really rely on immigration? I think this is a conversation that we need to have.
This bill goes some way towards addressing the current situation in which British trained doctors are being squeezed out of the system in favour of overseas recruits, despite the fact that the government controls both the supply of new British graduates and the number of training places. In 2025, 15,723 British trained doctors were set to compete for 12,833 NHS training posts. This is already a competitive environment. But the NHS's focus on overseas recruitment meant that those British trained doctors were also forced to compete with another 25,257 overseas trainees. It is clearly absurd that the British government should restrict the number of training places offered, while also increasing demand for those places through a policy of overseas recruitment, having spent hundreds of thousands of pounds to train each medical student in this country. This is particularly true when we know that doctors trained overseas are 2.5 times more likely to be referred to the GMC by their employer than doctors trained here. Many overseas recruits are hardworking and well-meaning, and many are excellent at the work that they do. But we must be honest about the fact that relying on overseas recruits instead of training more medical professionals in this country is not always a like-for-like swap.
Yep.
Both medical trainees and patients would benefit from a system which trains more doctors here and ensures that those British trained doctors are given a reasonable chance at moving quickly into an NHS training post.
Yep. It's easier as well. It makes sense because they already live here. They are from here. They know the culture. They know the place. They know the street. They know the people. They understand the language. And they know the norms, the things that we do, the way we live, easier to interact with. They know the little lingos that we have. They know the little slangs that we might have, because every single city has its own slang. When you come to Salford, we have a different slang. When you go to Birmingham, I'm sure they have a different slang, a different way of saying other stuff. When you go to London, of course, they have a lot of ways of saying stuff, depending on what sort of area you go from in London. If you go to Windsor, castle, I think you're probably gonna hear a lot of rich English, a lot of King Charles type of English, like sir type of guys, type of people. You know, the elites of our time, the future presidents, the future prime ministers. I'm told that the future prime ministers often go to a prestigious university. Maybe that needs to change. Maybe we need to get more people from Salford, or maybe people from Liverpool. Hey, Scouts, we gotta get them in parliaments as well. But I'm diverging from the point here. But if you hire the people who are already here, it's way easier. You don't have to start showing them, hey, don't do this, we do this. They don't have to start looking for a house, because of course the people who are already here already have a house, already establish a way of living. They just need to work. It's easier that way than to bring hundreds of people from overseas. And then what that does is that it basically, we leave our own people behind, because now they have to compete with all these people. I mean, it's a national, it's the NHS, it's our hospital. I mean, it's better if you go in and you see your people in there helping you out. It'll make sense if you are in Japan and then you fall sick and you go to the hospital there. And of course, the people who come to your aid are Japanese. It makes sense. But in the NHS, it's quite different, where you go to the hospital and of course it's still overwhelmingly represented by whites, but it should stay that way because it's a white country, right? You should not go there and be like, and go to get a paracetamol and then you see all these other. Yeah, this conversation is very sensitive. It can get kind of like, it can get people. I understand why a lot of people say, oh yeah, do you not think black people are good enough to come to your aid? No, that's not the case, bro. That's not the case. That's not the argument, man. The argument is whether we should prioritize the people who already stood in here, who already assume that they are promised a job here, a life here. We should prioritize those people rather than promising another nation's people that they can come and take our people's jobs. And that's in regard to NHS. That's it. Anything else, we can, of course, still have a debate about it. But what do you guys think about Katie Lamb's argument? Do you think this argument has some teeth here? That the NHS does not rely on immigration, should not rely on immigration? Let me know. Comment down below. What do you think? It's important we talk about this. It's important we talk about this, folks. Okay. All right. I'm just looking at the chat. Oh, you guys think yes. All right. Emma thinks yes. All right. Cool. Well, you guys think yes. But let's move into the next story. I told you guys I got a lot of stories today. But yeah. Oh God, this other story is it's crazy, man. How do I present this to you guys? Oh fuck, bro. How do I present this to you? Okay, let's try. I don't know if you guys know this guy. He goes by the name of Mohammed Hijab. We've contacted him to get him on the show several times, actually. We've not heard anything from him. I'm assuming this video will get to him. Hopefully he can respond. But this guy has a way of teaching. This guy has a mission for the young Muslims, and his mission, he has a message for his young Muslims, and not just young, but Muslims of all age. And he's just reading the Quran. He's telling them that the Prophet, Prophet Muhammad, has a way of fight, taught them how to fight, and they should follow this way of fighting, because I mean, Prophet Muhammad was good at fighting apparently, and he's telling his congregates that this is the way to fight. And I want to play this video. A lot of people are saying, how can somebody say this and get away with it? How's this guy not in jail given what this guy is saying? Am I even allowed to play this video on YouTube? That's how bad this really is. But this guy is preaching to young people like, hey, this is the way to fight. You got to strike them like this. You got to cut off their fingers. I'm thinking, what the fuck? Like, Is this what you guys are? I mean, if I was in church and my pastor started saying, hey, this is the way you fight the non-believers, yeah, this is the way you fight the people who are not Christian, you cut off their fingers, you remove their nails, you strike one time in the neck. I mean, this is what this guy is telling his congregants. I mean, what the heck? How is the police not looking into this? Listen to this, folks. It's concerning. It is. It's alarming, bro. This is crazy. It's worrying.
Prepare for them what you can from strength and from horses, that you will terrorize, you will frighten and terrorize the adu Allah, the enemies of Allah and your enemies. I will, subhanallah, I will put fear and terror in the hearts of the enemy. So ulqi the horses, that you will terrorize. Prepare for them what you can from strength and from horses, that you will terrorize, you will frighten and terrorize the adu Allah, the enemies of Allah and your enemies. I will, subhanallah, I will put fear and terror in the hearts of the enemy. So ألقي في قلوب الذين كفروا الرعب, terror. فاضربوا فوق الأعناق. Hit them above the necks.
Whoa. What the fuck?
واضربوا منهم كل بنان, and cut their fingers. Why the finger?
Cut the fingers, he's saying.
Because they can't fight. You disable a very intelligent way. You cut their hand, cut their neck, finish, dead. Allah is telling you how to fight. SubhanAllah, if you noticed, He's giving you the moves. And the most important move, فَاضْرِبُوا مِنْهُمْ فَوْقَ كُلَّ بَنَانٍ فَاضْرِبُوا فَوْقَ الْأَعْنَاقِ. Go for the one-touch kill.
فضرب الرقاب.
Yeah. فإذا لقيتم الذين كفروا فضرب الرقاب. Surah Muhammad. If you see the ones with فضرب الرقاب, this keeps coming up. Either hit the neck or hit above the neck, which is some say الرأس.
How is this allowed? I don't know. Is this guy teaching like a Sun Tzu, the art of war, how to fight, perception and reality and all these crazy stuff, the way to maneuver as a war leader or something? So what? You go in there to praise the Lord, your God, and this is what you're learning, how to disable someone and strike them one time and defeat them. How is this guy allowed to say this? How is he allowed to say it, bro? Because if any of us was to go out there and start telling people how to go and strike someone, this makes Lucy Connolly's tweet look like a baby who wrote it, like somebody they know what they were doing. If this guy, what this guy says, if you compare this to what Lucy Connolly says, it makes Lucy Connolly look like a saint. But this guy is gonna be out there walking and making more videos, and people will still tune in, and because of course he's preaching. The hate speech does not apply over here. I think I am alarmed and distressed. Aren't you alarmed and distressed, folks? I think I am. I am very alarmed and distressed, given what this guy has preached here. Now I'm probably scared. Maybe they're gonna strike me. Maybe they're gonna cut my fingers. Maybe they're gonna do one-time strike above, between my neck. Maybe they're gonna just hit my brain. One-time strike, I guess. Because this is what this is what they're saying. This is what they're teaching each other. So I'm alarmed and distressed. Hey, can we get the officer to kick down his door at least? Give a warning at least. Make a statement, Metropolitan Police. Could you just make a statement that you have heard our concern, and you are on this urgent matter? But by the way, there's people out there who are being arrested for calling somebody a moped. Listen to this, folks. There's a guy who was arrested for calling somebody a moped. They call a person a moped, and that person was apparently alarmed and distressed because they were called a moped. So the police went to the person who caused the, who committed the crime, and arrested him for actually calling somebody a muppet. But Mohammed Hijab can say cut his fingers off, strike his neck, one-time strikes to kill, but he gets a free pass. Yeah, listen.
So I've been sat around there all this time, yet you decide to come and talk to me when I'm leaving.
Okay. Well, if you're going to bring you back to me, you're under arrest for Section 4A public order offence.
Just give us your camera. Hang on a minute.
I'll explain the circumstances.
Listen, all I'm going to say is, do you guys really want to do this?
Yes, we do.
Right, you're arresting me for what offence?
Section 4A public order.
Public order for what? Taking pictures? Hang on a minute. Are you body cam one? Are you recording? Right, can you identify yourself, please? All of you.
PCU 692. PCU 1823. 870.
Sergeant.
1823.
1823.
Yeah. Put your hands to your back then.
Is this really necessary?
At the minute, we don't know if you're carrying anything that might harm us. We don't know anything about you.
Oh, that's okay.
Can't see your face, so just out of precaution.
All right, let me just speak. That's a fair comment. I'll let you have that.
All right, yeah.
But I don't have anything what's going to harm you.
Everybody says that to us, don't they?
And I'm actually just going to go in lobby, because it's a beautiful lobby. I'm going to get some, because I ain't got any stills. I'm
My
going to
colleague's
take some
going to tell
stills
you
and then I'll
the
go.
circumstances for why you're being arrested.
Am I being arrested or being detained?
Been arrested, I just said the caution.
Arrested?
Yeah.
Well, what have I done wrong?
You were the caution for public order. Do you know the caution again, or are you?
Well, what have I done? Tell me what I've done.
There's been a member of the public who you've apparently been shouting at and calling him a muppet.
Right, a muppet, yeah, and?
You caused him alarm and distress. She's very upset about
it. Well, I'm gonna be straight with you guys now.
Don't forget you're under caution.
I can feel you shaking. I can feel you shaking. Calm down. Calm down. You are shaking.
Right, you've got your rights.
I'm going to tell you now. Calling somebody a muppet.
Before you go in there, I'm just going to turn your camera off.
Calling somebody a muppet does not come on.
Yeah. So calling somebody a muppet can, of course, obviously, of course, calling somebody a muppet can cause distress, can cause them alarm and distress. And of course, that's a crime. And of course, you can get arrested for that. But hey, calling your congregates to go out there and strike someone, one-time kill, cut the fingers off, disable them in any way it's possible, strike them one time. Yeah, that is called preaching. But you call somebody a muppet? I'm sorry, folks. You gotta get in the back of the van. You're gone. Jail. For you, mate. It actually makes our law laughable now. We can just laugh at it. It's like, it makes no sense. These very sensitive laws now that they've pushed it's destroying the real criminals are like laughing at this. The real criminals are laughing because now the police officer is diverging their attention into chasing someone who called another person a muppet. And the real criminals are like, yeah, these guys are busy over there arresting a muppet, arresting somebody who said something. The real criminals are like, thank you so much for engaging over there while I do my stuff over here. This is a problem. We need to fix this ASAP. We need to fix this ASAP. All right, folks. Again, I told you we got a lot of stories today. We got a lot of stories. What time is it right now? We're about to strike 6 o'clock. We're about to get to 6 o'clock. We got a lot of stories, but I'm gonna have to end it soon. No, I'm playing. Okay, we got one more story here. I was gonna tell you a story about a rabbi who came out, a famous rabbi who came out and said and told his people basically what Mohammed Hijab is doing. But a rabbi says we have to make sure Christians and Muslims to keep fighting, because apparently if Christians and Muslims unite, it's gonna be the biggest problem for Jews. So they have to make sure Christians and Muslims to keep fighting. It's a rabbi, a famous rabbi. I was gonna play as well, but given that you guys are so angry when I report on rabbis saying crazy stuff, today I'm gonna give you a break. Tomorrow, make sure you tune in. We're gonna play that video to you. We're gonna report you. Sorry, folks. You can call me anti-Semite if you want, but if I see a rabbi saying stupid shit, I'm gonna report it to you guys. A rabbi went out there saying that if Muslims and Christians unite, it's gonna be it's going to be it's going to destroy the world. And that's why they have to make sure Muslims and Christian to keep on fighting each other. That's what they need to make sure that, you know, Christian troops are in a Muslim country fighting each other. That's why they need to make sure that Muslims are in the Christian countries fighting each other. Because if they unite, it's going to be a big problem. I didn't say that. He said that, and I'll play it to you tomorrow. Make sure you tune in, all right? If you're ready to call me an anti-Semite, tune in, okay? And of course, I'm gonna play some. There's always a lot of clerics like Muhammad Hijab who says stuff like this. So if you're ready to call me an Islamophobia, tune in as well. All right, cool. Let's talk about Susan Hall. She is a phenomenal politician, you have to call it. She is out there. She makes a lot of noise. She's a necessary voice. I mean, what she does, for the energy that she has, is, you just have to respect it. Even though the people, you know, she goes against people who I would say are very ignorant, people who do not want to fix. And for me, when I'm looking from inside how, I have to say this woman is very patient. The way she deals with Sadiq Khan, with his ignorant, with his incompetent, the way she deals with him is very. I have to say she's patient. Yeah, she's super patient. I would lose myself if I was to ask somebody a question 15 times and they're pretending that they can't hear me. But Susan Hall has made a small little documentary showing the work that she's been doing in regarding the grooming gang and the information that she exposed. It's important that I play it to you guys so you guys can hear and see what I'm talking about. So this is a mini documentary about Susan Hall in regard to grooming gang. I think it's important we show you what she's been working on. So listen to this.
Now back to our lead story tonight, the conviction of 9 men for being part of a child exploitation ring who used young girls for sex.
It was rape, abuse and violence on an industrial scale.
Something seems to be going badly wrong with the inquiry into the grooming gangs scandal.
Just how many grooming gangs have we got in London?
Can she define what she means by that? What does she mean by that?
Are you not listening?
Today we need to give a full answer. Can she be clear what she means by that? I'm not clear what she means.
It's a sort of gangs that groom young girls at a young age for sex.
So my understanding, speaking to police, and she'll appreciate that on a regular basis, is, and I choose my words carefully for the reason she'll understand, there's no reported cases, but also no indication of the grooming gangs that she's concerned about in London.
For years, Britain's grooming scandal has been defined by cases in Northern England. London has barely been mentioned. Across the capital, grooming gangs are targeting young girls and boys.
Children in the care of Lambeth Council were subjected to decades of cruelty and sexual abuse.
Haringey couldn't guarantee its legal responsibility to monitor high-risk cases of child abuse.
Look long and hard at Victoria Columbier. The same child protection services which missed dozens of opportunities to save her have failed again. And this time, a 17-month-old baby is dead.
Just like Victoria Columbier, Baby P was known to Haringey Social Services. They allowed Baby P back into his mother's care against police advice.
Shouldn't have to say tackling child sexual exploitation is a priority.
No, this is why this is such a hard-hitting report. I think we recognise this. We looked at literally hundreds of case files like this, and 3/4 of them weren't good enough. We had to send 38 of them straight back to the Met immediately because the severity of what they contained was leaving children at risk.
This is a question that I've been trying to answer over the past year. 12 months ago, I asked Sadiq Khan, the Mayor of London, this question, and he couldn't answer. I'm not the Met Police. I'm not the Mayor of London. I am just a concerned mother and grandmother. But as a London Assembly member, I do have a platform. Since then, multiple victims and family members of victims of child sexual exploitation have reached out to me to tell me their story. What I've heard from the victims is absolutely horrific and, quite frankly, heartbreaking. This isn't a simple thing. This is very complex. But for sure, the people that have suffered so badly. This cannot be ignored. I am publishing a report today that asks to what extent grooming gangs exist in London. If I can gather this information from victims who proactively reached out directly to me, can you imagine how many countless cases of child sexual exploitation there are out there that are not being investigated? Please follow the link to read my report. Thank you.
W in the chat for Susan Hall. What an amazing person, bro. I think if we have hundreds of her in Parliament, I think I'll sleep well. I think I'll sleep well. Don't you think? I think I'll go sleep well. I'll be fine if my daughter goes out, because I know Susan Hall will be out there on the lookout, because she's been amazing. I mean the amount of time I see her going back and forth with Sadiq Khan, going back and forth with the Labour and the left, who are, I mean, turning a blind eye on the rape gangs. It's worrying. It's worrying to see that those people have been elected. And it's also concerning that to see how they treat the people who are trying to fight for justice, and to highlight and also bring about change. So I think Susan Hall, she's an amazing person. She's doing a great work. Should we get Susan Hall on the show? We can pull some strings, all right? We can pull some strings, okay? All right. I'll be in London next weekend. So we can pull some strings. I'll be meeting a lot of people. I'll be chilling around, and I'll be streaming, by the way. So whoever I meet, you're going to meet them too. Maybe you might not have an intimate conversation as I will, but you also get to talk to them through the live stream. So I'll be live streaming next week, Saturday, when I'm in London. I'll be live streaming from the moment I get on my train to the moment I get back into it. So I'll be there. I think I'm there from like 11 o'clock, maybe 10. I'm there from 10 to like 9. So hey, so we got a good stream on Saturday, okay? We're gonna be with a lot of people, a lot of faces that you recognize. And Susan Hall might be one of them. I'm not sure. I can't really tell you. But if that is, then we're gonna get on the show. But folks, go read Susan Hall, his new expose on this rape gang epidemic that we have here, the crisis that we've been having for a while now, and nobody has the balls to come out and try to fix it. So if you have time tonight, go read it. I'll see if my team can get the link. Actually, we're gonna get a link in it. The link is gonna be in the description. Go read it, folks. Go read it. All right. I think I'm run out of stories now, folks. Look, I prepared 6 stories for you, and I think we've done all of them. We've done all the stories. We've done all the stories. We've run out of stories, folks. I think I like the fact that I can do the live stream by myself. Don't you enjoy that? I like the fact that I can turn on the camera and report the stuff by myself. I see a lot of people always need like a co-host. They always need somebody to bounce idea from and have a conversation with. You see, like on GB News, they're always like, "Yeah, here's my panel. Hey, here's my panel. Here's my people I'm gonna bounce ideas from." I like the fact that I enjoy the fact that I can go and do it alone. I actually do enjoy it. I think even my team told me, my story producer told me, you do very well when you do it alone, especially on the lives. When I do video alone, I do very well compared to interviews. I've been working on my interview skills. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've been working a little bit, but I like doing it alone, right? I can do 3-hour broadcasts alone. But I want to be getting more people into. I want to be inviting people and have like a little panel. But I want to do more of like sitting and talking and going for long. But folks, we run our story. Okay, what should we cover? What should we cover? We can free flow now. Okay, we can free flow. Now we don't have a scheduled story. We don't have a prepared story. We've done all the stories, so we can basically go back and forth. Okay, so let me check your chats. What you guys are saying? What do you guys think of today's stories? What do you guys think of today's stories? Good or bad? Good or bad? What's the latest poll right now? Do you guys agree with Susan Hall and grooming gang? A lot of people say yes. All right, nice. Yes. So somebody says no news is good news. That is true. Sometimes no news is good news. Or don't you? Because sometimes when there is news, you always now have to hope it's a good news. But when there's no news, you know that whatever you have in your mind will, everything will stay constant because there's nothing that will, there's nothing new that will disrupt wherever that exists. So, good to have the truth. All right, folks. What should we do? Should we play a game? Should I start playing games? I see a lot of people doing streaming and playing games. Saturday today, I'll be outside this Saturday. What do you guys want me to show you? I'm thinking to return on doing debates in town. So I'm thinking I'm going to do that instead of doing protest and stuff. Because I think the Iranian people are taking it to the street on Saturday. And we've been covering the last 2 Saturdays. We've been covering it. But I'm going to do more of it. I'm going to do more. I'm going to bring back the debates. Although we only did it for like a couple of weeks. But we're going to bring it back. So when I'm outside this Saturday, I'm going to be putting myself in to a lot of people who I think they're going to disagree with me. So I can actually go back and forth and stuff. So after the protest finish, I'm going to leave. Then I'll go somewhere else. I'll probably go to a gay village and debate and talk politics with them. Of course, respectfully. I'll go to other places that I know will be heavily occupied by people with different views, with something that oppose my view. And I'll go and debate with them and go back and forth. I think let's bring that back. Let's bring the debates back. We need to be a little bit spicy. Oh, actually, good idea. I think I should go and debate the professor that kicked me out of that university, of that place where I don't know if you guys know, but I got kicked out. I got dragged out physically. I got literally physically dragged out because I had a question for a Marxist university professor. This guy was out there teaching the way of, Marxist, ideology, socialism and all this stuff. And the room was full of young people. And of course, I consider myself young. So I was in that room too. And I always have questions. And my questions were not welcome. And my face was not welcome there. Apparently me being there was a threat. And they needed to keep themselves safe. So they needed to drag me out physically outside the place. Even though I paid to be there, it was a conference, it was a meeting, it was an event, and I paid to be there. I paid for my security guard, I paid for my cameraman. We went in, and there we all got dragged. We all got physically dragged. So maybe we should go again. But this time, I'm thinking maybe we should do it different. I wanna maybe go there before they go inside and debate them at the door, but they're not going to give me more attention then. And of course, I'm not going to go in because, of course, they have dragged me out. They have wanted not to go in, so I think going in will probably be a problem. So don't want to do that. So I think Fuck knows says only Jesus can save us, can save England. Yes, I agree. Only Jesus can save England. And I mean, yeah, you're right, because we've pushed God away. We've basically decided that we can do the job alone, and now we are, of course, being punished for it, because the people that have decided they can do the job alone without God, of course, are not good enough. And this is the reason why you see a lot of pedophilia. This is the reason why a grooming gang has been a thing that's not been solved for a very long time. This is the reason why kids are being sexually assaulted everywhere. This is the reason why you see a lot of crazy crime. And the nation itself, the culture itself, has basically eroded into something else. And also, this is the reason why you see a lot of degeneracy in the street, where the things people wear and the thing people do, and you walk around and you see a crackhead doing drugs in the street, and you're thinking, you know. But I mean, maybe I didn't go to this place when I was young, but I didn't see that before. But now it's easy for you to get access of these dangerous, deadly drugs nowadays, because I mean, it's easy, right? Everybody wants to do it. And this is the reason why you see even NHS is pushing these sort of new ideas of doing a trial on young kids. I mean, what do you mean you want to do a test on young people, and then to find out if the, I don't even want to talk about this trans ideology thing where West Treaty voted for wanting to do this medical trial. And trans debate is more. Can we even talk about trans on YouTube? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if we can talk about trans on YouTube and the YouTube still will be safe. So I'm gonna tread careful here. But seeing what West Treaty has been pushing on the NHS, you're thinking, what do you mean? And then you turn around and you see this carbon tax. What do you mean you want to do carbon tax? What? How does that make sense? How are you going to calculate carbon tax? So yeah, I don't think you can do. So somebody just commented here. I think you'll get kicked off on here for that. And I just got a message from the producer saying, hey, don't touch this topic. I think there's some topic where you can't touch nowadays. And I'm beginning to learn that there's some stuff that you can't really touch. And it's like, don't do it. Don't do it. And my inner side is telling me, do it. But then, of course, for the safety of the channel and, of course, for the hard work that we've been putting in this channel for the last couple of years, I'll restrain myself, hold myself, okay? But hey, by the way, we got 1 subscriber on Twitch. Isn't that cool? Isn't that cool that the fact that we got 1 subscriber on Twitch, folks? Twitch is booming right now. We are growing so fast, faster than ever before. We got 1 follower on Twitch. He's watching right now. He's commenting right now. He's engaging, and he's been engaging since 5:08. Whoa, he's been here for an hour. So Twitch is doing well. All right. We got 1 follower on Twitch. All right, folks. Okay, we can brag. We can brag now. Look at that. We got 1 follower. Can you see that? Can you see the 1? We're live right now on Twitch, folks. We are diversifying now, since YouTube is playing around. All right, we got 1 follower there. So if you can go follow the Baraka Show on Twitch, we got 1 follower. What if he unfollows right now? Let's refresh. Are we gassing him up too much? Is he still watching this? Oh, he just says I'm usually on YouTube. To be honest. Hey. All right. Okay, we got 1 follower. All right. 1 follower on Twitch. We are live on Kick as well, but Kick, we have 0 followers. So if you can follow us on Kick as well, you see right there, there's 0 follower on Kick. 0. Nobody right there. But of course, it's an organic. We've been streaming on Kick for 5 days now, endlessly. We keep streaming there. We've been streaming on Twitch for like a week now. We just it's gonna grow organically. I don't mind. If it takes 5 years, it takes 5 years. If it takes 10 years, it takes 10 years. But we are there. We've been. I don't know what's going on with Rumble. Every time when we stream, it ends our stream midway. Hey Rumble, what's going on? You keep ending my stream every single time. We got 200 followers on Rumble, but every single time when I go live on Rumble, it ends the stream. Like, look, we meant to be live, but this live ended 1 hour ago. The live you're watching right now ended on Rumble 1 hour ago. I don't know what's going on. I'm sure maybe it's my fault, but yeah, something needs to be done, folks. Something needs to be done. Sounds like you've been rumbled. Yes, sounds like I've been rumbled for sure. For sure. God saves everybody in the chat. Jesus is our only king. That's right. That's right. Jesus is our only king. I know somehow, somewhere, it's controversial for you to say Christ is king. I mean, could you please get back in the line? Shut up somewhere in the corner. Just go there. We don't want to hear your cries about it's controversial to say, you know, Christ is king. Christ is freaking king and will always be king, all right? So if you don't like it, if you want to hear it, put your headphones on, turn it on loud, because we're going to keep saying, we're going to sing the song because Christ is king, all right? And Jesus is the only way that we... Jesus is the... Sorry, I just read the comment there. Jesus is the only way that will... Jesus is the only way that will get the country back. And I mean that very well. And of course, all right, we can separate the church and the state. Okay, we can do that. But sometimes there needs to be like a line of people that we pick to go represent the state. They don't have to they don't have to turn the parliament into a church. No, it's just the way of governing, their action, their morals, the way of living. If it resembles Christ, I think the country will be safe. But if it resembles something like Tony Blair type of stuff, if it resembles something like digital ID, put everybody on digital ID, I don't know. I don't think we're gonna fix that. If it resembles like every single politicians have to fly to Davos every year to go tell them how much they've been ruining their own country, I think we have a problem. If it resembles that we have to arrest people for calling somebody a muppet in this case, I think we're gonna lose the country. So yeah, we need to pray that a lot of Christians and a lot, not just Christians themselves, just good-minded people. I don't know, a Buddhist can be nice. They have good morals. It's just good people who are able to go out there and see things and be like, okay, assaulting a young girl is not good. So when somebody does it, we teach them a lesson. I think I'll be fine if somebody comes with that sort of idea, with that sort of mindset. You know, I'll be okay. So somebody says Iran, Sudan, Iraq, all used to be Christian countries. Lebanon used to be one of the biggest Christian countries, to be fair. And that recently changed as soon as they invited... you fill in the blank, right? That recently changed. It changed in the worst way possible, where Christians now they can't go to the street and do normal stuff that they normally do. So yeah, you can see the oppression there. A lot of these terrorist organizations that have come around. Who do we blame? Who should we blame? Because these terrorists have, for some reason, it's very sad that all these terrorist groups, we use them as well when we need their help, which keeps their existence and can continue to they continue to fortify their power within the region because we use them too. Because when you look at a country like Sudan, you just mentioned, I'm assuming you said Sudan. When you look at a country like Sudan, which is in civil war, when you look at the people who are pulling the strings and the countries that's pulling the strings, and you're thinking, all right, so we don't like terrorists, but we are funding one group over there, we are funding one group over here, we are funding one group over here, or maybe we are creating one over there, we are creating one over there. It's a problem. I think it's a huge problem, and it contributes to endless terror within the world. Endless terror within the world. You see the Somali fraud in the United States, and the money ends up in a terrorist group in Somalia, and you're thinking, what is going on? And a lot of you guys are thinking, oh, it's the Somalis are sending money to terrorist group. All right, folks. If you look deeper, like just actually, you don't even have to look deep. You just have to like turn the page around. That's it. You just need to turn the page around. Then you see which organization is keeping this terror. You think we can't go out there and obliterate Hamas? You think we can't do that? We have enough technology to go and capture Maduro and remove him. That's how good we are. And you think we can't go and capture Hamas? We have enough technology to even think of putting weapons in the air and call it a golden dome. And the weapons will be floating in the air. That's how good we are. And you think we can't go and capture Hamas? Come on, think again, folks. The world leaders want the problems to continue. Because imagine if there's no terrorist attack. Imagine if everybody's living fine. Think of how broke these institutions will be. There would not be need for weapons manufacturing. There will not be need for nuclear warheads. There will not be need for all these endless destructions and civil wars and displacement and all this crazy stuff that takes place. There will not be need for that. But because these governments exist, these people exist, and they want to make money, they want to fortify their power, they want to turn Gaza into a nice palace for themselves and turn it into a real estate technocrats. They want to use all this. And for them to do that, Hamas has to exist for a certain time. And when Hamas exists, terror will exist. Maybe we can use the case in Syria. We funded Saddam Hussein when we needed him in Iraq. We funded oh God, bro. We funded the Islamic regime in Iran when we needed them. Imagine if think about it. If they're so bad, why do we fund them? Why can't we just get rid of them? Why do we fund them, folks? We can just go and get them out. But no, we don't get them out. Because why? We need the destructions. Somebody needs to make the weapons and somebody needs to use it. Somebody needs to die. So then, it just goes on and goes on. Weapons of mass destruction. And then when you look years later, when you look 10 years before weapons of mass destruction pitch, you see who sent the weapons there. It's the Americans. They sent the weapons for Saddam Hussein to fight Iran. They sent chemical weapons, which Saddam Hussein used to basically gas the Kurds. And couple years later, after 9/11, we turned around and said Saddam Hussein is the bad guy. And then we went and toppled him. War again. And that we stayed there for 8 years. And then we stayed in Iraq, in Afghanistan. And we stayed in all these places. We never returned. Even though some people say, hey, we're out of Middle East. No, we never left. We never left. Because in 2022, we figured out that over 24,000 Afghanis were smuggled into the country secretly. covert mission. You don't do that if you're not there. We never left. So the story goes on, man. The story goes on, bro. The story goes on. So when somebody says, hey, Trump is going to bring peace. No, he's not. He's going to do what he can. But he's not going to change everything. Okay. Oh, Trump, of course, respect to Trump. He's done some good stuff. And he's also messed up some other stuff. But he's human, of course. Then he's not going to get everything right. He's a human being. And plus, he's an old man. So, you know, as you already know, we're human beings. We all have an expiring date. We're all going to die. He's 80 years old. So, meaning the next 20 years, I'm sorry to say, he won't be here with us. So he's going to do what he can with the time that he has. And somebody else will come and they'll do what they can with the time that they have. Have you noticed that every single time when somebody comes in, they never actually fix anything? It actually gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. It gets worse. It always gets worse. It always gets worse. Although they look like they're trying, but it gets worse. Just think about it. It gets worse. Okay, Obama came in. He wanted to deport all the illegals in United States. He deported a lot of people. He's the only person who has deported more people in the whole presidency. If you were to rank them against any other president, Obama was the first person to not the first person, but obviously he's high as one of the top ones to deport a lot of people. Trump comes in. Trump deports maybe a couple 100,000 or maybe 2 million. I don't know. Maybe 1 million. And then, of course, Trump launched the vaccines. Trump launched the vaccine mandate, whatever, forced people to get it. Then Biden comes in. Biden makes it worse, arrests people for not taking the vaccine and doing all the crazy stuff. Just exacerbated the issue and allowed tens of millions to come in. And then now Trump is in. And of course, Trump is trying to fix it. Have you noticed nobody has been arrested on the Jeffrey Epstein files? Nobody gets arrested. No arrest, no deep state arrest. The people who tried to kill him and shoot him, nobody gets arrested. But of course, Trump is trying his best, right? He's trying his best. And it looks like the numbers are looking like he's only going to probably deport like 3 million people through his tenure in the White House. That's not good enough. That's not enough. Given the message that he gave to people. So yeah, people always, they try. Then maybe Gavin Newsom might get in. Maybe J.D. Vance might get in. We don't know. And everybody, it's just going to get worse. You know, it's like everybody goes for their own turns. Everybody has their own agenda. But guess what? Destruction continues around the world. Sudan is fighting. Gold, they're fighting here. Everybody's fighting. And all the Western countries are picking side which militia they'll back. And they're sending money and they're sending weapons. This foreign aid stuff. Have you noticed? Let me tell you a story, folks. Let me tell you a quick story, right? Just a quick story. I'm not going to diverge. I'm not going to go for too long, okay? I just want to talk today. I've reported the stories. All right, I've reported the stories. Now let's talk together. Can we really have that? Can we have like an intimate time together where we can just talk? I think we can. I think we can. We own each other that much, okay? Okay. So in the early 90s, right? Or maybe in the early 2000s, there was a campaign that raised over £1 million, £100 million to send money to Somalia. It was called Hunger Relief in Somalia. And over $100 million were raised to send as an foreign aid. So the US and of course the Western country, they sent that money to Somalia. And that was foreign aid. Remember, do you know why Somaliland exists today? You want to know why Somaliland exists? As you already know, in the early 90s, in the early 80s, no, in the late 80s, because Somaliland declared independence in 1999. Actually, no, I think they declared independence in hold on, folks, 2 seconds. Either it's 1999 or it's 91. So 2 seconds, folks. Let me just fact check myself. Somaliland. If you guys can fact check me, independence. Somaliland, was it 1991 or 1999? Which one was it? Oh, okay, Somaliland. Okay, 1991, they got their independence. Okay, where they declared themselves independent. So there was a big civil war that was taking place. So it happened. So they declared independence in 1991. So the civil war was taking place in the late 80s. Big civil war in Somalia. Everybody is fighting. There's a militia here. There's a big militia here, which of course later on went on to break the country. But everybody's fighting. People are going back here. You know, you got militias here, like, you know, they're pulling their country. They're saying, hey, we're going to have this. And everybody, the government's like, no, we're going to have this. No, we're going to crack down on terrorism, blah, blah, blah. So, of course, the Western leaders are looking at this thinking, should we fix this? No. We're going to pick a side. And they picked a side. They raised over £100 million. $100 million. And they sent it to Somalia, and it's called the Hunger Relief in Somalia. You can search this up. The money gets sent, and guess where the money goes? Not to give the kids who are hungry, or not to give the guys who are like starving, not to give the mothers who are you know, now homeless, they don't have anything, not to buy the food. The money goes in buying weapons, so they can divide it and give one side and give the other side. So they can keep on fighting. It makes absolutely no sense. Why do you think all these terrorist organizations still exist? Because they gotta make money, right? They have to make money. You know how hard it is to buy bullets? You know how expensive it is to get a bullet? You know how expensive it is to get young guys in and give them guns? You know how expensive that is? It's super expensive. So somebody has to give them money. Somebody has to give them money. And guess what? The Western country, we make donation, foreign aid, and we send there. And guess where it goes? It goes to the terrorists. And they just keep on fighting. They just keep on fighting. And then we pick a side because we know this side where they reside, there's a lot of gold. So we want this side to win. This side where they reside, there's a lot of oil. We want these guys to win. So we want to divide them so we can get this and get this at the same time. Look at Congo. Look at what's going on in Congo. Multiple people are pulling the strings, including the Congolese government themselves. They are also benefiting too in making sure all these militias continue. The Congolese government has its own militia that goes and kills its own people. I mean, what the fuck? So when you look at all this, you're thinking, what is going on? So of course, the destruction in the world will always continue. Will always continue. And you might be thinking, Barack, you sound like you sound defeated. You sound like you've given up. No, I've not given up. I've just come to a reality that it's always gonna continue, folks. Because when I was looking into why the Congolese war is still going, the civil war, the civil, I should have been born in Congo, but I didn't get a chance to be born there because, of course, my parents had to flee away because huge civil war, hundreds of thousands of people died. It's a miracle how they got out there. It's a crazy story. Sometimes it can make you tear down because hundreds of people died, hundreds of people displaced, and even till today, that shit still goes on. So you gotta ask if these guys are all black, they speak the same language, maybe they have some sort of like a tribal disputes and stuff, but I'm sure they're hurting each other. I'm sure they're gonna come to an agreement to stop fighting. It's been over 30 plus years, so I'm sure they're gonna stop fighting. But then when you look into it and you see why they are pushed and kept on going and they are compelled to actually keep going, you understand. It's not just the guys on the ground fighting each other. It's the people at the top who are giving them the power to fight. Because they're not going to fight with knives all the time because it's very dangerous. You got to get close to the guy and do something to him with a knife. But when somebody's giving you a gun, you feel more compelled because you can actually stand over here and shoot. And when you got the United States, you got the West, and you got all these over the money that's coming in as foreign aid. You got the Saudis who are, when you go to Saudi Arabia, you get so much gold. Why do you think Saudi Arabia has so much gold and they sell it for so cheap? They don't have any gold on the ground. So how come they have gold to sell for cheap? Well, because they can just get Sudanese to keep fighting each other, and Emeti can give them gold. Business continues. And for them to keep doing business in their country, selling gold, cheap gold, they're going to make sure the conflicts continue as well, so they can have actually gold to keep on going. This is a problem. And it will keep going for a very long time. But I can go on for long, but yeah, we're going to end the stream now. But folks, again, let's celebrate. We got our first follower on Twitch. That is beautiful. They followed us at 5. A new follower, actually. Sick. This is the first follower on Twitch. So that is beautiful to see. That is cool to see. Wait, did he unsubscribe? Hold on, folks. Did he unsubscribe here? Hey, did he unsubscribe? Hold on, folks. 2 seconds. Let's refresh this. Swipe up. Let's go back on Twitch. I hope he didn't unsubscribe. Hey, we've made a good relationship. You can't unsubscribe now. It doesn't say how many subs we have. All right. Okay, he's still here. All right, we got 1 sub. All right. Can you see that? We got 1 sub. Okay, can you see followers? 1. You see that big tall 1 line. Yeah, big subscriber, 1 subscriber there. And if you go on Twitch and search for The Baraka Show, you'll find us. If you go on Kick and search The Baraka Show, you'll find us. If you go on Rumble and search The Baraka Show, you'll find us. If you go on Facebook and search The Baraka Show, you'll find us. The reason why we have all these over social media now is because, have you noticed how YouTube has been treating us lately? They are going hard for no reason, actually. They're pushing us. Oh, Barack, you're so proud of your Twitch follower, aren't you? Yes. The first follower is always important. Once you get 1, you've entered the door. I think once you get 1 follower, you enter the door. So I'm proud of the Twitch follower. That's number 1. Let's get Kick. Somebody go subscribe on Kick. Come, somebody gonna subscribe on Kick while I'm here, so I can appreciate you. Can show you some love. Kick. This is Kick, all right? 0 follower right now. Somebody go subscribe on Kick. Okay, let's refresh this. Swipe up. Go back on it. Oh, God. 2 seconds. Still 0 follower, but it's fine. It's fine. We can get that 1 follower soon. We're gonna get that 1 follower soon. But we're live on Kick everywhere. But folks, thank you so much. I appreciate you guys for tuning in. It's been a lovely broadcast. I'll see you guys tomorrow at 4 o'clock. As you already know, this is not a regular show. It's not a regular show. So I'll see you tomorrow. We're gonna cover a lot of stuff. It's gonna be a little bit controversial. We're gonna cover the rabbi who went out there and told his people, his congregates, that if Muslims and Christians unite, it will be a big problem to the world. I think we need to cover that, because why would he say that? Because I would like to see Muslims, Jews, and Christians uniting. It will be, I think it will be heaven on earth, I'm telling you. So somebody says, Barack, my son banned me from all social media. He said, I'm too naughty on YouTube. Sorry, I can't help you with your over social. Nah, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. But thank you so much, folks. I really do appreciate you. I appreciate you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, it's gonna be a little bit controversial tomorrow. So make sure you come in. Make sure you are. You're not stiff, okay? If you are stiff, you're gonna be. Make sure you're light on your feet. We're gonna make sure you open up, open mind. And we're going to do a little criticism. We're going to criticize both sides, and we'll see how it goes in the chat, okay? See you tomorrow at 4 o'clock, folks. But without further ado, bye-bye, bye-bye, bye-bye. Thank you so much. You've been silenced for very long, and every time you try to resist, they put you in jail. For my children. You've controlled your mind for so long to the point where you let them decide what your kids should learn, what gender they will be. And now you've let them to come for the whole nation, destroying what Britain once stood up for. They use this media machine not to report the facts to you, but to tell you what to think and what you should do. Always be careful. They're hiding the facts behind the noise, and they're recruiting pedophiles to tell you how to behave. And these politicians you meant to protect you, they're out there smashing your head on the ground. And no jail time for them. This road we've been on has been very dark for a very long time, and it's time to shine a light on the truth and advocate for justice. We the people make the nation, and if we don't stand up and advocate for justice, then we certainly won't make this nation great again. So we have to create a place for that, a place that can contribute to a more informed society. And that place is Next Frontier Media. Our country is built on an idea. It's an idea so powerful that some of us have died to protect it. It shapes our connection, our politics. It forms the fabric of our daily lives. And it seems so fundamental we rarely pause to consider its significance. But here's the thing. This notion is entirely uncrafted. And although it feels like it's getting stronger and it's always going to be here, the truth is, it's becoming more fragile than we realize. This concept is a community. It's built when people with shared interests, value and goals come together, interact regularly, support each other, and work towards a common objective, creating a sense of belonging within the group. That's called a community. You are not just a person who happens to live in Manchester. You are Mancunian, or Londoner, or Brummy, or Scouse. With what our leaders are doing, we are slowly losing this community. So let's stop for a moment to learn why this idea has existed forever and how it got us here. Because once you do, it makes sense why we should keep this concept alive. So help me build this community.